Hi YouTube. Right, heat treat day. So this is a little bit about our heat treat. As you can see down there's my PID for setting, for the ramping, for holding it. As for the holding it, it's a bit of a funny one. You can go by the rules. All of us will hold these little bits of, I wouldn't call it secrets, but we've all got our own hold times, and you know, we all go by the guidelines and you experiment with what works best. This was an oven that I'd got from another knife maker that had been making knives for quite a while, and he moved on to other things. Right, I'll have to take you off a minute and I'll show you inside if I can. Okay, there's the inside of my oven. There's my PID. That's my little rack inside. There is my quench oil in a stainless thing. I use a professional quench oil designed for tool steels. It allows it to be quenched at the right temperature. It will quench it quicker. It's designed specifically for that. I also have down here a thing for a salt bath quench, which is something else that I'll be doing. I'll try and show you this if I can. Whoops. Whoa, it's all your stainless, John. It's an old blank that I used to put in just to heat the oil up, and then I'll zap it with a thing I'll show you in a minute. Sorry guys about this. There we go. Okay, that's for me salt. Whoops. Okay. You'll have to excuse me a second, guys. Okay. Right, so that's my oil and my container, because you want a big enough container, especially if you're doing a few, because the oil heats up ever so quick. And you want enough oil to disperse that heat properly, and that's I've also got a couple of products. This is another it's an anti-scale coating that I've not used yet, but I will do. High-tech anti-scale coating. That's a case hardening thing anyway. Right, and as I've shown you before, I use a kind of high-end thing which I've just bought a new probe, a new thermocouple for checking the temperature of my oven. To be honest, the oven's really good, but as I've discussed with Sandy, you know, I need peace of mind. Also, you can, as for tempering, guys, look, I'm no expert, I've only been in this 5 minutes, you know, but I know a lot of knife makers, obviously through my leatherwork, and I've been dealing with them all for quite a while now, so, you know, I do get to be privy to some great information, you know, and I do thank them all for that. For me, I've also got, oh, here we go, what I use for Kydex, but I also use this for, see how me tease, right, I also use this for making sure that my knives, I've got another one of these that I put Sandy onto. It's not as high end as this, but for your oven, kitchen oven or another oven, it's absolutely perfect, because when I quench these, when them knives reach 125 degrees, I don't want to be hanging about Fahrenheit. I don't want to be hanging about. For that first cycle of tempering, I want that straight in that oven. As soon as it hits that, or a little bit more than that, I want it in that oven for that first temper. The second temper, it doesn't really matter. You know, you can let it to air cool and run your second temper. I always triple temper. Whoa, get it out, Lee, mate. Sorry, guys. I'm running away myself here. gotta slow down. I always triple temper my blades. It's important. You don't have to. What I would recommend is you, with R1, is do a minimum of 2, you know, at least. Don't just do the 1. I mean, you can do, but you're gaining by doing an extra 1, and I think I'm gaining just that little bit more by doing a triple. I'm also in the process of sorting out the liquid nitrogen for the D2 heat treatment. This is something I'm definitely... I might even have a crack with the R1 to see how the cryo goes about, but yeah, I think it, you know, for D2 especially, and some of the others, it definitely favours the cryo treatment. I mean, I'm not going to have a big high-end one like that, a professional one, but you know, if you can get your liquid nitrogen in your bottle, and it's the same type of thing but on a smaller scale, if that makes sense. You're still reaching that minus that you need to achieve for that cryo, and it definitely helps. So this is a little bit of an insight into my how I do my heat treat. At a later date I will be I'll make another one of these for the larger knives. I'm quite lucky if I do any big projects. You know, I'm lucky as in I've got good knife making friends that I'll always be able to send the bigger ones to, and they'll do it for me until I can get a bigger oven. This will accommodate everything I need for now until I start doing, say, I don't know, big massive, you know, if I decide to do real big choppers. But my art lies in a lot of the folders too, as well as the fixed blades. So for the folders and stuff, this will be great. But for the D2 and stuff, for the folders, that's where the cryo is really going to help too. The salt quenches are also fantastic. I mean, you know, it is dangerous, but the salt baths, and you know, that's another fantastic way to do heat treatment. But that's pushing my boundaries a bit. That. But I thought I'd, you know, because I've had a few questions about this type of stuff. With this oven, I like it's got a thing at the top to release some of the things as well. I think that helps it keep its temperature so even. As for your soak times, it varies. You can go to where you buy your steel from and see what they suggest. You know, as a rule of thumb, it's per inch. I can't exactly remember the details now. It's what I would say, guys, is maybe experiment with a few different soak times and see how you get on. Or yeah, so I'll pop these in the oven now in a bit, and I'll maybe try and bring you along as I quench these. One of the reasons why I'm, you know me with my OCD, as you know me a bit well by now, you know, I'll start stressing once they come out. You know, I really want to get to, because once I've preheated my oven, I'll stick the other probe in then to keep it at that. Then when the doors open, I'll stick both probes in then, just to double check on them both. And once that knife reaches that temperature, you know, I don't want to be hanging about or worrying about the video. You know, for that first temper, I really want to get it, you know, as soon as it reaches that 125, I want them knives in that oven. To me personally, that's really important. That first temper is to get that bit really as best as you can get it. You know, R1 is a real forgiving steel. You know, it can be done. You know, please don't think you've got to have all this to do a great heat treatment. It all helps, but you know, you can do it at home. You know, by a gas forge, or you know, in the coals in the fire. Please don't think you've got to buy one of these to be able to heat treat knives or do all this, because you haven't. All I'm trying to do is make the knives that I'm making the best I can possibly make them. And I'm trying to get the best possible heat treat I can without having to outsource. And the reason for that is there's nothing wrong with outsourcing the heat treatment, and these professional places that are doing is great. Because I'm so fun, I like to have control over the certain aspects of stuff. Maybe if I started doing really big batches, then maybe the outsourcing of the heat treatment is the way forward. But you know, but for now, I like the fact that I can control this heat treatment. I can make sure I'll run to that oven and make sure it's tempered and all that. I'm not saying these professional heat treat companies don't do that, because you know, they've been in the game a long time, and you know, they do it for some of the biggest high-end knife makers out there. But just for peace of mind for me. For now, I like to be able to know that I'm getting this right. Okay guys, so that's just a little bit of an insight into the way I'm treating my knives, because I have had quite a few questions about it. As for the oven, guys, the guy who I had these off, he had this made, so it's not something that I don't think you can just go out and buy. He had the PID put in and everything, so he had this made for his particular knife so that he could get his heat treatment, you know, bang on and all the rest of it. So I can't give you no information sort of thing regarding that. I can't say, oh, there's a link, go and get this and that, because this guy had this made for him to make his knives. So yeah, so that's the best I can do. I'm sorry about, I wish I could help a bit more about that. As for the oil, I don't think you can get this from the UK. I think you have to outsource this from the States. You know, I had this come, thankfully, with my oven, and also my tongs that I use were made specifically for the you know, for this part of this process, which I really love. These, they're really great. They were designed for picking up 4mm pieces, he told me, when he had them made. There's a little maker's mark somewhere. Oops, see if I can pick that up for you. And the blacksmith made these for him, for this oven, for taking out his bushcraft, his type of Woodlaw, cloney type, well, no, they were bushcraft type knives that he was making. So these come in really handy. They're nice and long, keep my hands out the way. They're great, I love them. I will look at doing a bit more of that compound, and looking how, if I can give you any advice on that, then how it you know, if it does stop the scale. But to be honest, with this oil, I hardly pick up that much scale at all, to be honest. Once I've given them a quick wipe and got them in, and tempered them, to be honest, quick buff on the buffer, and there's hardly any scale, if I'm being really honest with you. But that's supposed to eradicate it completely, or near enough. So obviously for the D2, I also use the stainless steel foil for that, as you've got to. But okay guys, that's just a little bit of an insight into my heat treat. I'm going to pop these in now. I'll stick my probe in. I'll probably do a little bit of footage of it, of that, and whether I can film the actual dunking them into the quench oil and stuff, I don't know, because I panic about the of getting the knife straight into the oven. The reason why I don't use, I have tried with this, the reason why I don't use my actual heat treat oven, which would do the thing fine, because I'm so conscious of that blade being at that temperature for that first temper. To be honest, the oven, and a lot of other high-end ovens, I don't think you can dump that heat quick enough. By the time that knife's come down to 125, I don't think the oven can dump the heat out of it quick enough for when you put yours into temper, if that makes sense. Ideally you have two ovens, but for the tempering, as long as you've got a probe, or like the one I put Sandy onto, to make sure your other oven, whether you use a toaster oven, whether you use an oven in your house, or the other oven, as long as you can regulate that temperature, then that's great. You know, this doesn't dump that heat out quick enough to be able to then stick it in. All the knives at 125, ready for I hope that makes sense, guys. Okay, bye for now, Lee. Guys, there's the knives in. There's the old blank that I use to put in when it's hot enough for heating my quench oil up a little bit, just to take that the edge off it. You are supposed to get it at a certain temperature. You know, I'm not pushing it to that. I've found that one blank is enough to get that more than, and then by the time you've put the others in, it's great. Okay. Whoops. There you go, guys. It's away now. What I love about this oven is it's got it real creeps up nice and slow, and that's a good thing. We'll get this going and all. and I'll show you once this lot evens out, and keep a check of this temperature, and yeah, we're away. Mr. Weasel, Mr. Brybo, your knives are on the way, mate.